Excuse me. Just watched the Jocko Willink podcast on London Real. Got to say a few words about it. Huge fan of Jocko Willink, but you know what? I've recently realized that I have a little bone to pick. And that's what I want to talk about today, people. And look, send this to Jocko. If you know him, send it to him. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like sometimes I don't put on a little Jocko motivational. Listen, if it wasn't for some of these Jocko motivationals, I wouldn't be doing this video. You understand what I'm saying? If it wasn't for some of these Jocko motivationals, I wouldn't be doing this video. I had to watch one or two of his videos to be like, go get it, son. Go do a criticism of me, son. Go get it. Because what I found is that even though he has a book called Extreme Ownership, his book's called Extreme Ownership. There's some things that he's not taking any ownership of. And that's what I want to talk about today, people. So we're going to start with a trailer of Jocko doing London Real. And London Real is a podcast. Does a podcast need a trailer? I mean, there's trailers for Indian weddings. If an Indian wedding can have a trailer, I think a podcast can have a trailer. Does a podcast need to have a trailer that's this well produced? Let's take a look.
War is a nightmare. War is hell. But war is also an incredible teacher.
So already, let's just relax, right? Let's just relax. I feel like if the U.S. military, if the British military made a commercial like this, there's a lot of countries in the world that if you made this your recruitment commercial video for your army, someone in the government would be like, oh, let's take it easy, Goebbels. Can we not brainwash a bunch of 15-year-olds? What the hell is this? We're just going to give you a warship? Bunch of crazy 15-year-olds playing video games all day. Can we not just...
If I could have joined the military when I was 13, I should have done that. But they won't let you.
Teach them to be war machines? Let's relax.
You can forget that there's evil people out there. You need to be reminded of that. The thing that reveals human nature is when human beings are put in traumatic scenarios.
Take ownership. Take extreme ownership.
If your team isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing, it's your fault. The will to fight is the will to kill, and it's the will to die.
These Brits, eh? They love the empire. The sun doesn't set, does it? No, the sun doesn't set on our... It's done, guys. Here's the thing, okay? You got this empire. It's over, right? You went broke spending your money on your military. Can you say something to these Americans? Huh? Instead of just stroking their dicks too, it's all just the sun doesn't set, and just so excited about your empire. You need to do this podcast on a warship, you maniacs. And who's going to say something? Is someone going to say something? Every time they sign up for one of these dumbass wars, right? Like going to Iraq, we all knew it was stupid. The whole world knew it was stupid, but these Brits are like, oh, right, en route, rendezvous in Baghdad. Come on. I don't know if it was them that said, oh, en route, we've received the telegram, en route, already there, oh, thank you. The entire whole world was like, this is stupid. Why? No, England, mommy loves you. That's what I think. I don't know if it's them being like, mommy loves you, or if the Americans being like, hey, Brits, remember Hitler? Remember when Hitler almost took it? We're going to Iraq. Shut the fuck up. That's it. Just pack your shit. Just pack your shit. Remember Hitler? Remember when the Nazis almost took your shit? Pack your shit. We're going to Iraq. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
The will to fight is the will to kill, and it's the will to die. And those are some pretty big wills that you need to have. There's no one that wishes for peace more than people that have been to war. When the war drums sound, it's my friends that are going to fight. People are going to die on both sides, and yeah, that's why they say war is hell.
That's why they say it. Let's take it easy with that war is hell. Now here's the thing that I think sums up Jocko's views. War is hell. War is terrible. War is awful. Too bad we have to do it forever. That's it. It's never, don't do it then. He always says just like these token lines, war is awful. It's my friends that have to go. Don't do it then.
Not one battle. It's a campaign. Win the campaign and win the war.
It's a trailer for a podcast. Documentary. It's a podcast, brother. Okay? I love these self-help people. They just jack themselves up. Watch the full documentary. LondonReal.tv. It's a podcast, my G.
If I could have joined the military when I was 13, I should have done that. But they won't let you.
It's a podcast. But, okay, that being said, my God, I listened to it. If you're a dude, you're just getting jacked up, dude. You put this podcast on, you're walking around all day with a giant boner, dude. Let's go to the TED Talk. And the reason why I want to go to the TED Talk, because here's the thing with TED Talks, okay? When it comes to these motivational, self-helpy kind of books, you kind of get the whole thing in the TED Talk. Let's watch it together, shall we?
War is a nightmare. War is awful. It is indifferent and devastating and evil. War is hell.
So don't do it then. Let's just wrap this up. We could wrap this up in 1 minute. Don't stop doing it. All the time. Stop doing it. Well, here's what he says next.
But war is also an incredible teacher, a brutal teacher. And it teaches you lessons that you will not forget. In war, you are forced to see humanity at its absolute worst. And you are also blessed.
Okay, can we just take it easy with these extreme low angle? What is this? What is this, sir? Sir Jocko, sir. Why I gotta look up at your deck? It's like, I'm the sergeant, you're down there. Put them down there.
War also teaches you about brotherhood and honor and humility and leadership.
PTSD.
And for me, one of the most impactful lessons that I learned from war was in the spring of 2006 in the city of Ramadi, Iraq, which at the time was the epicenter of the insurgency, where brutal and determined terrorists ruled the streets with torture and rape and murder.
Well, you shouldn't have occupied him. You shouldn't have put Saddam Hussein in power. I'm sorry, but I had to say it. Does someone want to say it? I had to say it. What the hell did you put Saddam Hussein in power? I mean, we're talking about extreme ownership, right? Because this is extreme ownership. Because I read a book called Extreme Ownership. You wrote it. If we're going to bring all this up, are we going to mention American foreign policy? Are we going to mention the fact that you put Saddam in power, and then 10 hijackers from Saudi Arabia did a terrorist attack, and then you just went over there for no reason? And then you just went to Iraq? We're going to mention that? Because it's called extreme ownership. If it was just called like a little bit of ownership, just to kind of half-ass take ownership, then I'd say, okay, yeah, sure, this is great. Perfect TED Talk. If it was called extreme ownership or just go murder a bunch of people in Iraq, I'd be like, yeah, it's a good book. That's exactly what the book is. Perfect. But it's called extreme ownership. You can't, why are you telling me about all this shit? Oh, yeah, how did they end up like that? Are we going to take any, let's continue.
And in that fog of war, through a series of mistakes and human error and poor judgment and Murphy's Law and just plain bad luck, a horrendous firefight broke out. But this firefight, it wasn't between us and the enemy. This firefight, tragically, was between us and us.
Oh my God, can we just keep this moving? Each word has like an echo behind it. It was between us, and us.
Friendly forces against friendly forces. Fratricide.
How many different ways can you say that you killed each other? It was us against us. fratricide. We killed each other. Us, not the enemy, but us against us.
The mortal sin of combat and the most horrific part of war.
Can we speed this up, dude? Okay, let's go. I might just have to give you guys a recap of this. Honestly, it's so slow. I was already saying that you take like any self-help book, okay? You just do the TED Talk instead. You basically got the gist of it, okay? Now, here's the thing. This entire TED Talk is 13 minutes, okay? And he's talking this slow.
And when we got back to base, things didn't get much better. There was a message waiting for me from my commanding officer. And it said, shut down all operations. It said that the commanding officer, the master chief, and the investigating officer were inbound to my location. I knew what this meant. It meant that somebody had to pay. It meant that somebody had to be held accountable. It meant that somebody had to get fired for what had happened.
Friendly fire, you actually don't have to get fired. They kind of, during the Iraq War, tons of friendly fire, very few people. They just kind of look into it. If it was a mistake, it's a mistake. It's usually not even court-martial. I mean, and let's be honest, if it's Iraqi, probably nothing.
I walked into the debriefing room with my commanding officer, and the master chief and the investigating officer were sitting there waiting for me, along with the rest of my men, including my SEAL that had been wounded, who was sitting in the back of the room with his head and his face all bandaged up. And I stood up before them and I asked them one simple question. Whose fault was this? One of my SEALs raised his hand, and he said it was my fault. I didn't keep control of the Iraqi soldiers I was with, and they left their designated sector, and that was the root of all these problems. And I said, no, it wasn't your fault. And then another SEAL raised his hand and said it was my fault. I didn't pass our location over the radio fast enough, so no one knew what building we were in, and that's what caused all this confusion. It was my fault. And I said, no, it wasn't your fault either. And then another SEAL raised his hand, and he said, boss, this was my fault. I didn't properly identify my target, and I shot and killed that friendly Iraqi soldier.
That guy should have put his hand up first. This guy should have put his hand up first. He shot him. Can we just say it's his fault? It's clearly his fault. He did the third one. It's the last one. Storytelling dictates. I think we nailed it. It's this guy, the guy who pulled the trigger. That guy's fault? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ding, ding. Got it. Yeah. Done. We're done, right? Let's continue.
And I said, no, this wasn't your fault either.
What? Whose fault is it going to be?
And it wasn't yours or yours or yours, I said as I pointed to the rest of the SEALs in the room. And then I told them that there was only one person at fault.
Who could it be?
For what had happened. There was only one person to blame.
One person? God?
And that person was me.
Oh, wow. I just want to see, I want to be in the room and just one of the admirals is like, okay, Jocko, next time just say it was your fault. I got to sit through your theater production every time. Are we adults? You just brought all your Navy SEALs in a room in front of the admirals and you put on a little play for everyone, didn't you? What's this play? Got to do a little thing. It's just friendly fire. We don't even charge people for it. Who cares? It's an Iraqi. Dude, nobody cares. Jocko, it's Iraqi. We don't do shit when they kill another American. It's Iraq, baby. We didn't do shit. Dude, friendly fire in Iraq? Nothing. What is all this? This is all theatrics, people. He's doing theatrics for the admirals. He's doing theatrics for us. I'm sorry, man. I got to call you out here, Brazad. And here's the best part. He says all this. It was my fault. I take the blame. Only one person.
And you know what? I didn't get fired. In fact, my commanding officer, who had expected excuses and finger pointing, when I took responsibility, when I took ownership, he now trusted me even more.
Did he go to jail? No. Did he get a court-martial? No. Best-selling author? New York Times book, best-selling author? Oh, yeah, okay. I got to cut the video there because I thought I was going a little hard on the guy. I thought I was going a little hard just making fun of his little theater play there. You know, we all put on little productions like that, and we want to be proud of our theater plays. But then I read this article, and I realized I don't think I'm going hard enough on this guy. I don't think any of us are going hard enough on this guy. I think this guy is more full of shit than what I originally thought. It's called Iraq War Logs, How Friendly Fire from U.S. Troops Became Routine.
The mortal sin of combat.
How Friendly Fire from U.S. Troops Became Routine. And it's from a nice liberal rag called The Guardian. But now it might be a liberal rag, but look, first of all, these right-wing maniacs aren't going to cover it. Okay, Fox News isn't going to talk about this. But also, it's just war logs, meaning like there's actually very little editorializing in it. It's just kind of a list of you don't have to add anything. Here's the section of the article where they just talk about Americans attacking British soldiers by mistake. In one previously unreported incident, a group of U.S. military police trying to repair a broken down vehicle shot at 2 Royal Marine Land Rovers, injuring 1 commando on 20th October 2004. Okay, we're just starting up. That's just warm-up time. Approaching U.S. convoys was a particularly risky endeavor for the British. On 27 February 2004, 3 British vehicles overtook a Czech convoy north of Safwan, close to the Kuwait border. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing these things right. That brought them directly behind an American convoy lumbering along at 30 miles per hour, prompting a U.S. soldier to threaten them with his .50 caliber machine gun. Okay, so when it says threaten, okay, now it might just be like a point the gun at them kind of threaten, right? But I think, and as we go on in the article, I think it was more like a brrr, brrr, like just kind of shooting around them. And you'll see why that's what I think in a second. Either way, you're a psycho, dude.
The mortal sin of combat.
These Brits are there to help you, and you just pointed your machine gun at them? Are you crazy? Anyway, an intelligence report written by the British but passed to the Americans emphasized there was sufficient daylight for the U.S. convoy to clearly see the British military number plates on the vehicles. It went on, the British convoy attempted to get close to and pass the U.S. convoy a total of 3 times and was threatened in the same way each time. So every time these Brits, your allies, your one friend in this dumb fucking war that you went to, every time they tried to just pass you on the road, they're just trying to pass you. And these Americans just brrr, brrr.
The mortal sin of combat.
5 months later, on July 20th, a U.S. convoy opened fire on British vehicles trying to overtake in the same area. British vehicles were also shot by American convoy escorts again in November and December, and by a Bulgarian convoy the same month. The Bulgarians? The Bulgarians. Wow, this British Empire really, the sun has really set, hasn't it, my darlings, my dinkus? The sun truly has set, hasn't it, when the Bulgarians are firing at you. What is this? Queen Mummy Victoria is rolling in her grave right now. Are you kidding me? The Bulgarians are just... These Brits are such losers at this point that even the Bulgarians are like, brr, brr, shoot them. They don't care. They do nothing. Anyway, by February 2005, the British seem to have become resigned to being shot at by their allies as an occupational hazard.
The mortal sin of combat.
A report from that month of a 3-vehicle British convoy being strafed by an American gunner concludes both convoys continued on their journey without stopping. So basically, these Brits at this point are just like, all right, we got to pass this American thing. Just drive by really fast. They'll fire at us for a second, but just get through. In May 2005, a gunner on a U.S. convoy opened fire on 2 King's Royal Hussars vehicles when one of the Hussars' drivers swerved to avoid a piece of debris on the road. They're driving. They swerved out of the way of a piece of garbage on the road because a lot of times those pieces of debris, they could be like a bomb or something like that. Or it could maybe give you a flat tire. I don't know. He swerves out of the way to avoid this debris, and some American just goes, brr, brr, drive straight, motherfucker.
The mortal sin of combat.
I mean, come on, man. These people came to fight with you. I feel so bad for these British soldiers now. One night in October 2006, this is the last one and maybe the best one. One night in October 2006, a British patrol festooned with the blue light sticks, agreed on as a sign to identify themselves as friendly, reported they had been shot at by U.S. troops who had no night vision goggles and had been listening to their iPods. So basically, by October 2006, I mean, even though this whole Jocko story happened in 2005 and he acts like, I fixed it so that this never happened again. Well, in October 2006, okay, these Brits basically said, all right, jolly good, we're being fired at, jolly good, still in the mission, still love the Americans. Okay, when we have these blue light sticks, when you see these blue light sticks, that means, oh, it's just us, it's your friend. Oh, a jaunt around the empire with the Americans. Tally-ho, pip-pip, rendezvous in Baghdad. Brr, brr. Ah! Ah! Oh, dear, oh my goodness. Okay, we have these blue sticks. Anyway, look, I just got to wrap this up now. Jocko puts on this whole theater production, and he calls his book Extreme Ownership, right? So he puts on this whole theater production of how much trouble he could have gotten into,
The mortal sin of combat.
how awful things would have been because they killed an Iraqi guy by mistake. Dude, they're just firing at British dudes for fun. When you take a bunch of 20-year-olds and you jack them up with bullshit like this,
If I could have joined the military when I was 13, I should have done that. But they won't let you.
and then they're over there and they don't really have anything to do, okay? Because it's not really a noble war, a just cause. They're just kind of there hanging out. Yeah, this is what you get. Thanks for watching, my darlings and my dinkus and my brothers. Man, you must really be in love with me if you watched this far. You must have really thought those jokes were some tight bangers. Or maybe you just really hate me and you hate watching this. Either way, I think we need a love movement. That's where I'm at right now with all of this. I'm sick of all this militarism, and I'm just seeing these Americans go in debt. As a proud citizen of the American empire, I think it's enough, and I think it's time for a love movement. And if you agree with me, make sure you subscribe to this, share the video, send it to a Jocko fan. I think that's a good thing to start with. You know, if you're going to do one thing, send this video to a Jocko fan. Let's see what they have to say about it. Goodbye, my darling.